The left did what they do best, which is whine and cry about whatever thing, whenever things don't go their way. They were in over 1,200 cities. They had the signs, they had the chants, they had the costumes. And by the way, none of it was original because it never is. The hey, hey, ho, ho, is usually seen. And so you had this whole big production, and you probably were wondering, what was the message? The message was hands off. Now, off of what exactly, I don't really know. But hands off, apparently. And I think we have some aerial view of this protest here from one of these. Yeah, there is.
Oh, my.
Yes, that's Boston. So hands off, I don't know. Nobody really knows how to finish that phrase.
Probably our USAID money.
Yeah, hands off.
Yeah.
Taxpayer money funding corruption. Hands
funding
off
these protests.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So
who's paying for that? Did they all check out at 5 like they do at the Tesla factory?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I also saw I graduated from Texas State, and they had these Texas State buses that were driving a bunch of protesters to these protests in Austin. And they were forced to come out and make a statement that they contract the buses. And how dumb is this? This is a university who has a business school. And they said, we signed a contract with this bus company that our name is on the buses, but they can use the buses for whatever they want on our off hours. And we don't have to agree to whatever the buses are being used for that have our freaking name on them. I was like, this is embarrassing.
That makes no sense.
None whatsoever. So you had all of these protests coming up, and these people are just so embarrassing
being
and lame.
Responsible for the, sorry, Oklahoma City bombing. Go on. I didn't mean it. I'm just saying, you don't blame the trucking company.
I know.
It's just stupid. I'm sorry.
So you had this anti-Trump hands-off rally in Washington. So let's just kind of take a survey of what these were like across the country. You had Grisa Martinez Rosas. I don't understand why we have to have it. There's a lot of names sometimes in Hispanic culture. They'll have 5 names. And I'm like, why do you have so many names? I don't know.
How many do you have?
Well, I mean, I have a first, a middle, and a last, but I don't have 2 last.
Well, there you go.
So I don't know. But she is head of the... I think she's head of the group United We Dream. And she stood on a stage in front of cameras, and she was like, I'm here illegally. Yeah. This is not going to work out well for you, I don't think. Here's that. Watch.
My name is Grisa Martinez Rosas. I am an immigrant. I am undocumented, unafraid, queer, and unashamed.
Why did she add in the queer?
It'd be funny if that's why they made her leave. Yeah. We're deporting you. It's just all gays now.
I mean, I understand saying a bunch of times, finding words that are undocumented, unafraid, unashamed. And then she's like, also queer. We don't need to know that.
Yeah.
Just adding as many things as possible for why she should be protected. No, I mean, it is funny, but this stuff is also very, very blatant and brazen. These people have to go back. Can you imagine going into China and saying, I broke in here illegally.
Right.
You all owe me. You have to take care of me. Yep. You have to pay for me with your taxes.
Yep.
By the way, I'm just as Chinese as you. Actually, I'm a better Chinese person than you are. Mm-hmm. And I'm a dreamer. And all my dreams are the only things that matter, not any of the Chinese citizens or the people that are here. Can you imagine what China would do to me or to a person who did that? It would be immediate, quick, black bag. I'm not saying we have to do that here, but something similar. These people are way, way, way too comfortable. And you have to recognize mass deportations are the nice thing to do. Yeah. That is the moderate, that's even the liberal position. When someone comes to your country and does this and brags about how they are legally there are much harsher ways that you probably could and probably should deal with that person, and deportation is the nicest one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stands out to me, Dave, is these people are living real comfortably here in America. She is eating well. She is eating well here in America.
Yes, she's a bit large. I noticed that as well. She was unhungry.
Yeah, true.
So that's going well. I also do call myself a better Chinaman than anyone.
Yeah.
But that's.
But you
how
could
I
probably
am.
do a pretty good impression.
It's pretty solid. It's in no way offensive. They can't pick me out of a crowd. But I love that China's calling us a bully today.
Yeah.
Where I found out the tariff they have on us, like the amount of money they make off of, children's hands that make shoes. Like they really have no position to come at anybody. It's like, you're the worst country. Like you do
Emissions, the child slave labor,
Yes.
the camps, but Trump's the
abusing
bully.
your public, yeah, and all of a sudden, yes, Trump's a bully, and people get behind it because I don't even believe that half these people believe anything.
Oh no.
I think they're just there, or they went with a friend. At least I hope that's the case.
So I'm glad
They're
that
paid.
Can you imagine?
both.
Can you imagine using your weekends to go do this?
I'd never.
no. Now I sometimes use my weekends to go make fun of them.
Oh, I know.
But not
You're doing something that's actually useful.
right.
for the
Right.
country.
Yeah, they're not. And to your point, Dave, I want to play some of these protesters who they're at this rally and they seem totally clueless. Like they cannot explain exactly what it is that they're mad about that brings them to these protests other than like Orange Man bad or something. Watch.
So what makes Trump a fascist? What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without
You gotta talk loud. I don't have my mic on.
I'm not really good into interviews.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants and not following laws or he was a convicted felon, that's all I know.
Oh my gosh.
Your sign says he's a fascist, and I'm just curious what makes him a fascist.
This guy's smiling because he realizes.
Control the media, right?
Say that again?
He's trying to control the narrative.
How is he trying to control the media?
Roger
Doesn't every
eyes.
president
and
try to
Anthony
control the
Kiedis
narrative?
combined into one
They try
person.
to control their own narrative, but one of the things that Trump's has done, for example, is the renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and then not allowing the Associated Press to come into the White House.
Oh my.
Line? Is that what he said? There's a line to get into the White House?
Not allowing the Associated Press to come into the White House, which, by the way, isn't true.
Right.
The goal. So there are a lot of things that can make you a fascist. At the top of the list is renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and that, my friends,
Key
takes the
indicator.
cake.
Key indicators right there.
Yeah, it's a thing that shouldn't have been really done anyway, if you want my honest opinion. It just kind of makes America look like a giant TGI Fridays when we do stuff like that. But it's like, it doesn't mean anything. You're just picking something to complain about. You're not going to a protest because of Gulf of America. The only time I ever went to a protest was for legal weed, and it's because I got out of school and I was smoking weed, and I could tell you why I was there. It was for the weed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you look at this and you're like, maybe, to Logan's point, maybe these people are just getting paid because this is a DNC, organized, NGO funded, just like all the BLM crap. This is just George Soros pulling some strings.
Yeah, there was a somebody scrolled through their website over the weekend and it showed you all the different organizations that were funding this. They have no actual grassroots support or enthusiasm. It's all AstroTurf. That's all that these people are. Now, if we want to get into the fascism thing, I think libs deep down in their heart of hearts, at least some of the more honest ones, I think they do actually want Trump to be a dictator so that they can say, hey, we were right about this guy. He was always going to do this. And I think they crave authority in that way. I mean, if you look at what happened during the COVID stuff, that was in most recent memory, that was probably one of the most tyrannical periods of American history.
Oh, yes.
We rebelled against Britain for far less of what, is a tiny portion of what actually happened under the COVID regimes. The libs loved it. I think they would want to do it again and again. I saw Fauci say, he said he was predicting like how our next pandemic was going to come about or something. It's like these people, they want it. They're desperate for, they like to say, Trump is sucking up to these dictators and he's going to turn us into China and he loves Xi Jinping. They want what China has. That is their type of...
As long as they're in charge.
That is their, yes, as long as they are in charge, that is what they want to turn America into. So I think they kind of crave that little bit of fascism, but yeah, they don't know what they're really talking about. They wouldn't be able to recognize the only thing that they're able to say when they get at these protests is like just some NPC regurgitated talking points. That's what he said. They don't have, it's a lot more than half of them that don't believe anything. They're mostly just like the media tells them what to say, or they're whoever they're getting paid from tells them what to say, and then they just repeat it.
The guy had a very clear sign that had a slogan, and then it even had a website link. And he could have at least gone to study up on what the website said.
I feel like everybody's looking at their phones and they don't even go over it on the bus ride in. They should at least tell you the definition of fascism.
The fascist Trump regime.
You should be able to explain it to a degree.
Right.
I don't understand how anybody can just stand there and go, well, it's like, okay, well, I can tell you why Trump is almost a comedic view of capitalism. Like, it's so extreme in the other way.
Right.
How could you really say fascism?
Right.
I just want to hear the explanation that makes any sense.
Well, they can't.
He hosted
there isn't
The
one.
Apprentice.
Yeah, there isn't
fired
one.
people.
It's a great show, by the way.
Yeah.
If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.